Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Fix This Build That Sunday Night Live show. I'm Brad.
I'm Susan.
And we are time delayed. Did you not hear me? I was like, I'm Brad, and you're like...
I was busy doing things.
She was
you
on
weren't
lag.
going anywhere.
She was lagging.
Yeah, glitch.
Hope
Glitching
everybody's
out.
having a great Sunday. Actually, I need to change one thing real fast and make sure that the battery doesn't die on this. Turn the display off. There we go.
Seems like a good thing to
Yeah, I forgot to turn
figure
the
out.
display off. I know. All right, let's see who we have joining over here. Mike Donaldson, what's up, my man? We got Maurice T-Hub early. What's up, Taylor?
Wow. Hey, Taylor.
And does anyone know what day it is? I never do. What's up, Travis Porter in the house? Razor. Honestly, I normally don't know what day it is anymore. Over here on Instagram,
I know.
we have, let's see here. Who do we have? We got Bill Builds. We got Zoe. What's up, Zoe? C. Castillo. And yeah, all right. And dividend in mind. What is up, guys? Hope you guys are having a great day. We just launched a new video that went out there. 3 DIY kitchen organization projects. So go check that out if you have not already. We basically took the space under the sink, did some pull-out trays and some different things there. And then on the underneath the thing, can you pull up this, please, Patreon? I didn't get the people. And underneath the stove, we did some vertical dividers for cookie sheets, as well as a little shelf in there. That was one of my favorite, even though I don't think it is one of the best, most well-received. Is one of my favorites because it just added that extra space for the cookie sheets, as well as a little bin on top, and then Tupperware storage. So those are the 3 that we did. If you're struggling with kitchen organization, definitely go check that out. All right, we're gonna. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But that's the video that we just launched. Okay, cool, excellent. So before we do get started, and we're going digital today. I didn't even print it out.
We're so high tech.
I know, saving the environment.
We're saving like a little tree somewhere.
Or I just forgot to do it. We do want to thank some new members to the Builders Club. Almost said the MFP tribe. I want to thank some new members to the Builders Club, the Fix This Build That Builders Club. We had Kraig Minner, Sam Edwards, and Elliot Sotomayor. So thank you so much. Sotomayor.
I wonder if it's like Sotomayor. Like
Sotomayor?
Like the Supreme Court Justice.
Yeah. Elliot, hopefully we got your name at least somewhat right.
Craig might be Minner.
Minner.
M-I-N-N-E-R.
I'm sorry, Minner. That's 2 N's. Yeah. So let me
guess.
just redo that. Kraig Minner, Sam Edwards. I believe we got Sam
Edwards right. Yes.
And Elliot Sotomayor.
We think.
And thank you so much, guys, for joining the Builders Club. If you don't know what the Builders Club is, you can go check it out at fixthisbuildthat.com/Builders Club.
Yep.
And basically what it is it's the inner circle of the Fix This Build That tribe and family here. And we hang out over on Patreon right now. And we have extra content, early release videos, updates through the week, as well as video credits and free plans. So if you want to go check that out, feel free to do that. Let's see here. All right, let me see. I'm scrolling through here. Let's see what kind of who we have on and what kind of questions we got. What do we got? Looks lots of comments going over here.
Table update. Lucas says 2 more people have asked him to build. I mean, like, I would like to know who all these people are that want squirrel picnic tables.
Listen, I want to know who's the next person who's going to pick up and start like fronting on his business.
I know, seriously, they'd be like, that's a demand right there.
Cabinets above the stove are hardest to utilize. Norbert says they are. Those are the worst. Let's see here. In the shed, Brian has a question regarding kitchen cabinets. How hard is it to build a kitchen cabinet using a Kraig jig? Great question, because the kitchen cabinet is very similar to a shop cabinet. If you go check out my videos, I have a bunch of videos on shop cabinets. So if you search garage cabinets or just search Fix This Build That cabinets, then you will see a lot of the ones I've made. I've made a lot of different designs and styles, from like your standard 30-inch wide double drawer cabinet to a smaller 15-inch cabinet with drawers. And you can see exactly how I make them, and that's exactly what I use. I used a Kraig jig. So and in this last video, I used the Kraig jig to make the pull-out trays. So you can make the cabinets with it, you can make the pull-out trays. I'm a huge fan of pocket hole joinery. I think it's easily approachable, it is fast, and it just makes all the cutting that much easier because you don't have to go in and do the dados or do any of that junk and worry about all that, and you don't have to buy a super expensive thing like a domino or something like that. So I am a huge fan of using pocket hole joinery in cabinetry, and kitchen cabinets are exactly like shop cabinets, so go check that out.
And continuing with that, let's see, Beth and Rick are driving home listening to us in the car as they have just installed cabinets all
there
day.
you go. That's how it works.
So this is like they can't escape it right now.
Jose, what's up? All right,
Yeah,
we got Jose,
on here,
we got Katie.
Bill Builds, Adrian, and Elliot Sotomayor is
That's
here,
correct,
and he
just
said
like
it
the
is
judge.
just like the judge. So
Awesome,
we got
Elliot.
it right! Yay!
Cheers. I new beer tonight.
We really like getting the names right.
We do. New beer
Yes.
tonight, Salty State of Mind, Salt Life Lager.
That's right.
Have never tried this before.
And I am rocking the flavored water.
Yeah.
Because I'm still being healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So the day that I bust out here with a beer, you will know the health kick is over.
That is definitely a lager.
Is it?
It's good. It tastes a lot like Yingling. Let's see, closet organizer.
Yeah.
Oh, John just built the closet organizer we installed.
Nice.
DIY John. That's awesome,
that's
John.
like-
Hope you enjoy that, man.
I would not call it life-changing. It is a closet organizer, but it is house-changing.
It is.
More than room-changing. The one in our sense, the one that we built for the video, we've talked about this before. We have all of our winter coats are in there. I mean, it's just
use it for
so
a lot
much
more than his
storage.
storage.
And he's 12, and he doesn't care about clothes at all. So he doesn't care. It's
Yeah.
like it's all of our out-of-season storage is in there now, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So
so
I hope
good.
you're enjoying that, John.
Yes.
Yeah, look, we got Thompson Station in here, and I
Ah.
say cheers from soggy Thompson Station. We've been getting a ton
yeah.
of rain here in the Nashville area.
Yes.
It's been raining for like the past
2 days.
2 days.
Since Saturday morning.
which we've
Yeah.
needed it because it hasn't rained for like 2 weeks before that.
Right, we did need it, but it was a lot at once.
Yeah, so
Yep.
awesome. Jeremy Vargas, what is up? And Dennis Miko. We got it. By the way, for all the Instagram folks, come join us on YouTube. The experience is way better. The image is better. The audio is better. It's all better. And you can go over there. It's Fix This Build That Live is the channel. And if you just search for that in YouTube, it'll come right up.
Yeah.
So go check that out.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's hear. Who do we have?
Jeremy Vargas is here.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was thinking.
Did you ever say that?
Yes, I did. That's
Brian
okay. Brian
Farneth.
Farnth.
Farnth?
Oh,
Farneth.
Yeah. Farneth.
Farneth.
Whatever.
We'll
And
just argue
Teresa,
her
what's
name.
up?
Yeah,
sorry about
Teresa's
that.
here. Yep.
All right. When we have, let's see here. J Mart. Wait, I missed a question. CDU case. CDU Cassie something. Do you need to sand plywood before painting? When done painting, how do you avoid the tacky finish? So the nice thing about plywood comes in a lot of different finishes, and so you might see a plywood called BC plywood or AC plywood, and what those numbers stand for, and that's typically like on a pine plywood, is those numbers stand for the sanding grade. So the finish grade and the sanding grade for the actual surface, and so BC would be like one side's a B and one side's a C. AC typically you can get AB, you can get AA, you can get all of them. So those are different grades. So the lower the letter, the worse the grade. So an A grade, just like in school, an A grade is good. So you want the A's, but it's more expensive.
Right.
With A side, it's going to be really smooth and it's going to be sanded very nicely. You could paint right on top of an A grade. On a C grade or a B grade, you probably want to hit it with 150 grit just to kind of knock everything off because it's not as nice of wood, and so you're going to have more fibers and stuff. But you're going to want to prime. So prime first, and then paint on top of it, and then just let it dry. It won't be tacky if you prime first and then use a nice latex paint or an enamel paint. Let it dry, and also what you can do for extra protection, if you really want to, is you can clear coat it with a. I showed it last week, but with just a regular clear gloss Rust-Oleum overcoat, and you can do that in matte or semi-gloss or gloss or whatever. So lots of cool options. But yeah, I paint a lot of furniture bases. I typically paint the bases, not the tops, and it always comes out.
Yeah, it's great.
Pretty nice.
It's never
the
tacky
one
or
we've
anything
had,
like that.
it's not tacky. It does stay tacky for a little bit, but
Well,
after maybe 72 hours, 3 days.
The loft was a lot of paint, and it
Right.
needed to cure for light.
And it depends upon
That was
how.
a different kind of paint, though,
and
right?
That one's very. That one was very thick because it was a
Yes.
dark paint. So darker paints
Yeah.
are going to be tacky longer than lighter paints because it's got more pigments in it.
And it's not tacky anymore, but it said on there
Right.
like it was supposed to cure for like 3 weeks or something crazy.
Yeah, a lot.
Like if you were gonna sell a piece, I'm sure you would let it cure the whole
Right.
time. We just threw it up in his room.
Yeah, that's
we were
right.
good.
Devin Little, what's up? Sir J Mart. I want to start my own YouTube channel for woodworking. Any tips you can give me? J Mart, what's up?
Baby.
MFP.
MFP.
Susan,
we should have a sign that we hold
Susan
up.
knows.
Good MFP.
Made for
it's
Profit.
All there.
Go check out Made for Profit. We
Yes.
talk about that a lot, John Malecki and I, where we talk about how we started our channels. There's conversations around it throughout, but there are whole videos on, or whole podcast on how do I start YouTube? Like, what are the things to think about when you start YouTube? That kind of stuff.
Yep.
What we got over here?
People are just saying hey to each other. I get a lot of questions.
Hey.
People like the under-the-counter storage. Katie says she's moving and is going to do that in the new house. I'm telling you what, these projects were like the organization projects that I didn't realize that we really needed. And so we did them. I mean,
I'll be real honest. Like when we do some of this stuff, like I wanted 3 kitchen projects, and so like we were like, well, and I was
what
like,
can we do?
I want to go on. I definitely want to do under the sink, and then I definitely want to do Tupperware. So I had 2, and then I wanted a third one.
It was almost because like the under the sink in particular. I mean, we knew it was a mess under there.
Disaster.
It was a disaster, but like it was out of sight, out of mind, you know.
Right.
And but it was more of that, like that's a common pain point for a lot of people.
Right. Versus we weren't. We're more thinking about the video, and then when we did, like I said, my favorite one, I think, is the one for the cookie sheets.
Yes.
Because
it's just so smart.
And it's like vertical dividers. If you've not seen the video yet, or the Instagram post, go check it out. But it's vertical removable dividers, just like I have up here in the cabinets. And so you can make the opening, if they're 1.5 inches on center, I guess they're actually 1 7/8 on center, or 5/8, sorry.
Can't believe it, you messed that up.
I know, 1 5/8 on center because it's an 1.5 inch piece, but then you have an 1/8 inch gap or a 1/4 inch gap on each one. For the panel to actually go in. So you can either have, in 1.5 inch increments, basically.
Right. So it's adjustable.
So 1.5 inches, 3 inch, 4.5, blah, blah, blah.
But yeah, like all of those things were just kind of, you see this in the video, like in a very skinny cabinet. They were and it wasn't,
with a pull-out, which didn't make any sense.
No, it wasn't perfect, but we had lived like that for 7 years. Like it was okay, but then now
you can live with anything,
Well, that's my point, is like, it was annoying when I was trying to get certain things out because they'd all flop over and I'd have to like pull things out to get to other pieces. Yeah. But I was so used to it. But then now, it's amazing. And of course, we can fit way more stuff in there, and it's utilizing that space so much better. So I don't know.
And the little bins for the griddle stuff.
That's really nice. So anyway, check it out, because maybe you'll be like inspired to take on one of those projects. And it's great. Like every time I reach under the kitchen sink to get my like spray bottle thing out, like it makes me happy every time I look under there, because it's so tidy.
It just looks clean too.
Yes. Now, if we could just get the rest of our house that tidy,
no doubt,
we'd be in business.
We got, let's see here, Lenny from Arkansas. How do you join the top of a table to the bottom legs? Tarot 14 in. Go check out. I've got a couple different videos on that. I've got a dining table and a coffee table video on YouTube, but there's tons of different ways that you can do that. My favorite is Z-clips, either Z-clips or Z-clips figure 8s. Those are probably my 2 favorite. Let's see here, Bastler from Germany. What's up? I was a Bastler Bow. Got it. Nuke Beaver, Patriots fan. We won't hold that against you. What stain do you prefer, oil or water-based? And can you mix the protective poly if it's completely dry? Wow, that's a lot of questions. So I don't do a lot of stain, honestly. Anything that I can use water-based, I prefer, because water-based is just better for the environment and better for cleanup and all that. And it doesn't stink, and you don't have to wear a VOC respirator and all that good stuff. But yes, you can mix your stain into the poly. They actually have a whole product. The Minwax Poly Shades is that. And what that becomes is there's actually a term for that. It's called a toner. And a toner is where you actually mix the stain into the polyurethane.
Things are moving. I knew something was about to fall. Right. One clamp down,
okay?
We're good.
Right.
Yeah.
We're good. And so you can do that, and as long as you mix it before, and they're both obviously water-based stain with water-based polyurethane and oil with oil. Do not mix an oil-based stain with water-based polyurethane.
Don't do it.
That will go very badly. Don't do that. And let's see here. Awesome J Mart. Let's see here. Who would you got? Matt Making Things. Curious, where would you say the best where would you say the best revenue stream from YouTube? Where would you say your best revenue stream is from YouTube? Podcast sponsors, Instagram sponsors, or the website? Oh, okay. Where's my best revenue stream from? Period. YouTube, podcast, Instagram, website. Yeah. That's a good question because a lot of people don't understand like what we do. Like it's a very kind of dark art.
We're Voldemort over here.
Yeah. And it's like, well, how do you make money and how do you do this? And it's different. It varies by time of the year. And it varies by performance of different videos. So like we had the nightstand, the nightstand with the hidden drawer got over 1 million views in the first 30 days.
It was very exciting.
And so that earned a lot of money. And we had a couple other videos that were going. So like that comparatively, when I say a lot of money, I mean, it was a spike versus the normal. Right. So YouTube ad revenue.
There are more eyeballs on it, so therefore we reap the benefits of that.
Right. So YouTube ad revenue kind of waxes and wanes with the views, which also do that. Like it's never steady.
No.
I had another video that, gets like 50,000 views, and this one's got 1 million, and I'm like, I would just take 2 at 500,000. Just give me that.
Take 2 for $500,000.
Yeah. I would be much more happy with more consistency.
Right.
But
you never really know.
But having videos go big is awesome. So that's one side of it. The sponsors is probably the biggest, and that would be anytime that I'm working with a sponsor in a video, whether that's a long-term sponsor like Jet, Woodcraft, Kraig, those are 3 of my major sponsors. Mm-hmm. And if that's a long-term thing that is not per video, or you hear me talk about somebody in a video, those typically are the biggest portion. And it's just because that those are a per video basis, and it's not, those necessarily aren't based on like views. And so it's kind of a steady number. And so it doesn't matter, like if it's 50,000 or 1 million, they're still paying me the same thing. So sometimes like they get a whole lot of extra coverage, and then sometimes they get less.
Right.
But yeah, that would be the biggest, would be sponsors for the actual YouTube videos. So,
yep.
But the YouTube ad revenue is actually, it's gotten pretty decent now that the channel has gotten so big, and we're getting, we have a lot of videos, at least 10 videos over 1 million views, and like it just, what happens is it adds up. It's like
it's like what is it? The water and the ships. That one.
That's not really a great analogy.
Is it not?
No.
Okay.
It's more like drops in a bucket. It's like what I like to think about. If you think about every video as a bucket, and it's raining outside, and I put the bucket out, and whenever I do a video, I put a new bucket out, and it's all raining, and then I put one bucket under the downspout, so it's like filling up really fast, and that's like a 1 million view video. And the other one is like, I put it under the awning, and so it's not getting any rain in it. It is like the dry one.
We won't call out which video that is.
And then there's other ones that are just out there, and the more buckets you put out, the more water you can collect, aka the more videos that you have out, the more views you get, and every view is monetized.
And hopefully the more videos you have out there, the more that people get to see you and get to know you and like kind of resonate with you and want to see more of the videos that you then put out. It's also connected. Right.
But I'm over 100 videos now. We just passed 100 videos, by the way. Over 100 videos on YouTube, and each one of those earns some amount of money, and the more you add, the more it adds up. So anyway.
That's just one portion.
But good question.
There's a question that kind of would relate to that. When we go scroll back to it. Bill Builds wants to know, how long did it take you to get to 1,000 subs?
Ooh.
I'm assuming we've been on YouTube.
Well, that's a tricky question, Bill, because I had the benefit of already being established on Instagram. So, by the way, let's roll with this. Like, we're only 20 minutes in. This could
be like a little business section.
And somebody, I think, who was it up here? Let's see here. It was
awesome.
Weekend DIYer. Gene Goodman, what's up, Gene? And Chris Simonton, by the way. Weekend DIYer. When will some new episodes be coming out of MFP? Not very soon.
Right.
So
I feel like that's another sign we could just hold up.
I am a
common question.
I'm officially opening the questions for business. Let's hit us with
what do you
We've had so
know?
Many people hit me with the MFP questions. We'll go through and we'll try to answer as many as we can.
Right.
Whatever you want to talk about. Marketing, how to run your business. So if you're not familiar with the podcast, Made for Profit, our tagline is business, what is our tagline? Business in the shop, party in the front, business in the back, business in front, party in the back.
That is not the tagline.
No,
it could be though.
It's talking business in the shop, and it's about helping makers be profitable And when I say makers, like anybody that works with their hands, so not just woodworkers.
Right. It would apply to a lot of different
craftspeople,
craftsmen, women,
craftsmen and
individuals.
Women. But anyway, hit us with your questions because we're not, those aren't going to be coming out real soon.
Yep.
Water-based poly is better than oil. Woodworking guy, they're just different, honestly. Like, you just do some research on them. I'm not an expert, but they have different qualities, and they have different pros and cons. I'll just try to leave it at that because like I said, I'm not there. I'm not the expert. Let's see here. Build with Elise says, Alicio says, what sprayer do you recommend for poly? I don't know. I don't spray the poly much, and when I do, it's like really kind of rough. When I say rough, like I'm not doing like a fine finish on a tabletop. It'd be like cabinet furniture or something like that.
You've got a lot to cover.
And I've used like the Graco airless sprayer. I've also used. I want to start using I've got a Flexio from Wagner, Flexio 5000.
Is that what we use outside?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You want something with that'll atomize really well.
Atomize.
And get
so fancy.
Yeah.
So sciencey over here.
And Bradley, I use mineral oil on my cutting boards.
Maurice, I thought this was hysterical. Maurice said, want more views? Rename the video Under the Sink drawer with hidden garbage disposal. Great.
I love that. Jonathan Areses, what's up, my man?
Yep.
Big Willie in the house. Bill Builds.
All right,
Josh Luther, what's up?
Jonathan's got a business question.
Yes.
As a high-end detailer, how do I book more vintage Ferraris for Concours? Oh my gosh, I don't know that Concours d'Elegance level work. That's something French. I probably said it wrong. Sarcasm.
Ha ha ha. I didn't read the question first. I was like, yes, we got a business
I have
question.
no idea. No. But I will tell you that the way that you do it is you get those clients that you've already had and you treat them very well and you get word of mouth, right?
Yeah.
And so that's probably especially on high-end work. On high-end work, so let's talk furniture. On high-end work, word of mouth is a huge driver because people who want to spend, I don't know how much the detailing costs, but let's just say whatever.
Concours d'Elegance.
The Concours d'Elegance.
There we go.
I'm going to imagine that's like $1,000+ to detail your car.
Well, if you have a Ferrari, that's like a drop in the bucket.
Because you're probably doing, I'm sure you're doing clay barring and all that fun stuff and measuring the paint thickness. My buddy is into cars, so I know a very little bit about it.
Yeah.
But like detail mapping, like I saw this guy, like they go and they measure the thickness of the paint and do like a whole grid, like a topography map of the car. It's crazy. So if you're talking about something that's like $1,000 or more, like they're typically not, just going on Google and being like, oh, search for, like they're going to ask their friends who would be like, dude, like your car looks amazing. Like who detailed your car?
Or if you do such an amazing job, they're going to want to tell people. And I would imagine anyone that has, not anyone, but a lot of people that have Ferraris or other high-end cars probably like know other people that have Ferraris and high-end cars. You know what I mean? Like they have little buddies that probably also, or communities, online communities or something. So that'd be a great way to spread word of mouth. Social media.
100%. Find out where they hang out.
Yeah.
And then just go throw them, but no,
Get the Ferrari people to send them your way. They probably want to do it themselves, though. Although I don't know. We don't know anything about this. No?
Ferrari people don't want to.
No, I'm talking about the dealers.
Oh, the dealers.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know if the dealers even do. This is way outside of our pay grade, but.
All right, Palmetto Pines. Woodworking. Palmetto Pines Woodworking. I figured that one out. They say here, just recently started a small woodworking business out of necessity. What's the best place to start in terms of marketing or developing a niche? Niche. Local. So, and I'm not being sarcastic there, but when you say, so I'm going to say two ways. Like depending upon if you're talking about items, we'll hit both of those, okay? Items or actual local. Being able to sell local is always going to be the easiest for woodworking because you don't have to ship. People can put their hands on the product. They can see it. You can talk to them, sell it to them. So try local. And again, same conversation that we just had about the detailing. Work with other people and make sure that everybody knows that you are a woodworker. Because once people know that you're a woodworker, it'll just start. I mean, people know that I'm a woodworker, but they they don't understand. Back to the earlier conversation.
Yeah.
But they don't understand what I do.
No.
Like they don't understand. Like I make videos. Like I don't
build
build
stuff. The number of times that I've had people that I know randomly hearing that Brad is a woodworker, and he's like, they're like, hey, can he come like build built-ins for us?
Can he fix this under my sink? Or like, and so they don't know what I do, and that's with me without me pushing it, and without me having like a name like there's this Build That Woodworks. And so if I'm getting that kind of interest, then definitely if your name is, Palmetto Pines Woodworking, like they're gonna be like, yeah, like, and you're gonna be telling people like, yo, I'm woodworking. If you know anybody that needs business, let me know, give my name. That's gonna be the best way to do that. And then once you find the people who need it, for large furniture, tables, like people always want a table, people always need a table because people always want to change styles. And then smalls, stuff like cutting boards.
Right. Luther
Picture
Woodwork
frames.
says large custom is more profitable.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Also, I was gonna say, and on MFP we have a pricing guide, right?
MFP pricing guide. Yep.
Yep. So that could be helpful. But also, and I talked about this on here before. Just in our local area, I don't know how many times I see on local face group other people saying, "Hey, I need someone to build this laundry list of things." They want all these things, but they want to spend the smallest amount of money possible. And I would that is the thing. I think a lot of people they just want to pay as little as they can, and you just need to make sure you're not underpricing yourself.
Yeah.
Your time is worth money.
Don't get wrapped in.
So that's where the pricing guide could possibly help you, or other people in the community here. If you're on the YouTube channel, you could probably hit up other people for information, and they'd be able to help you out because they're all chatting on here.
Matt making things. Here's a MFP question. And by the way, I would highly recommend anybody on Instagram to come over to YouTube because the conversation and over on the chat is way better, and you can scroll through it. It's not like this horrible thing here. And then we'll be able to see your questions better as well. So please do that because I'm going to miss some here on Instagram, I'm sure. Matt makes things. He says, what was your IG following count when I launched my YouTube channel?
Do you remember?
Yes, I do, because that was back to Bill's question about how did I get to 1,000. I actually didn't answer it because I said I got sidetracked.
Okay, go ahead. Well, this is perfect then. Go ahead.
I believe it was, and I don't remember exactly, but it was between, let's say, 50 and 60,000 followers on Instagram when I went to YouTube. And in my mind, because it just totally makes sense, I was so excited because I was like, I'm just going to tell these people I'm on YouTube and I'm going to immediately have like 50,000 followers. Like, this is going to be so amazing. Like, it's going to be so easy. Like, heck yeah, let's do this. And I did it. I got on Instagram and I was like, yo, hey, I just launched a YouTube channel. Everybody come follow me. And I picked up probably 1,500, which is amazing.
Which is good.
I'm not scoffing at 1,500 followers by any stretch of the imagination.
But when you your mindset
50,
was here.
When you expect 50 and you get 1.5, that was my very first lesson.
That was like a lesson in reality right there.
Social media dynamics. And what I've learned is very, very true. And you probably, if you just kind of look at yourself in the mirror and think about how you do it, is that you have a platform that you like. And when you're on a platform, if you're on Instagram and somebody's like, hey, come to YouTube, there better be really good reason. And that's why we always say, join us on YouTube because it's better audio, it's better video, the chat's better.
Right.
Like, we're trying to give you a reason why we want you to come over. But if you just say, hey, I just launched a YouTube channel, only the people that really, really like you are going to come over.
Right.
Now, I did a couple other posts, and also not many people see it either. I did a couple other posts, and pretty quickly I was up to about 5,000 followers. So I only converted less than 10% of my Instagram following came and joined me
kind of a good
on YouTube.
Maybe like a good, not rule of thumb, because it would be different for everybody.
I would say expectation setting.
Right,
I would say max 10%.
Right.
So if you've got 1,000 followers on Instagram, now that might be a little different because you probably have a pretty good relationship with all those people.
Right.
The larger your audience, the more casual fans you have. But yes, that's how that all went down. And then that was the realization, is that I've got to build YouTube on YouTube's terms, not on Instagram's terms.
Right.
And every time I post on Instagram, I do get a little trickle and I get people to come over. And every time I say that, one person maybe comes over after 3 weeks of hammering you guys.
It's like human nature. We just don't.
You just want to stay in your thing. You don't
you're
want to leave.
comfortable where you are, and
But-
you don't want to move.
But yeah, so
But,
don't think that they're not completely mutually exclusive, but the overlap is much less than you probably think. Tool Mom Bonnie, what kind of beer are you drinking? That's my kind of question. We got Salt Life Lager here, Bonnie, and it is fantastic.
Water, flavored water.
All right, let's take one from
let's
Instagram.
see.
Scott, what's up? We got Scott Orem in the house. All right, sorry, were there any up
That's
here?
okay.
Have you ever used, Bill, I have not used Cobalt tools.
Oh,
And Josh
Jonathan,
Luther was talking. I saw Josh's comment that we were getting close to 1 million
Yeah.
subscribers, which we are, and we are super, super excited about.
Oh, yes, we really are. Oh, Jonathan gave us more follow-up. He said that the jobs that he's trying to book are between 10 to 15,000, and his average
Which I
job
would.
is like 1,500 for the work that he does. But the word of mouth is the biggest source of clients.
Yep,
So,
100%, 100%.
The Weekend DIYer says, Instagram is not easy. It amazes me how consistent you are on that platform. How do you do it? I've listened to your advice on MFP, but that is no easy task.
Weekend DIYer. So, for one, I appreciate that because it's not true.
But you used to be.
I used to be, and
like,
so
well,
I've built this image in people's minds that
he's just like
it
crazy.
flows through. But I'm not consistent on Instagram anymore, and that's because I try to do everything for one. But when I was, so how do you become consistent on any social platform? It doesn't have to be Instagram, but wherever, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube, and that's why I'm not on any of them, because I try to do all of them. You have to have a plan. The biggest thing is you have to have a plan, and what I mean by that, you can make it super simple. What I used to do, because I used to work, and quick backstory. This is my full-time job. So for those of you who may be newer, this is my full-time job. I have been doing this for the last 3 years, full-time. Mm-hmm. I quit my day job, which was in corporate America. I was a desk jockey. And from 2014, basically, let's call it 2015, I started Fix This, Build That at the very end of 2013. Started gaining a little bit of momentum and realizing I could actually do something with it in 2014.
And he hated his job, so
I hated my
really
job.
motivated.
Launched my blog in 2015, and that's when I really started going. So from 2015 to 2017, which was, it was March to August, basically, so a little over 2 years. I was like full side hustle, just like hammering it. And that's when I was like my most prolific, which is funny. I put out more content back then than I do now.
Yeah.
For lots of different reasons. But anyway, and what I did back then is I was posting daily, and then for a stretch, I was posting 2 times a day, every day.
Yes.
Very long stretch. And I posted daily for about 18 months, and then twice daily for 6 months to a year. And the way I did that was I had a plan, and it was literally on... Oh my God, getting bit by a spider? What is it?
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm not. This is just a random piece of paper, but it was on a piece of paper.
It's always on a piece of paper.
Yeah. And so what I would do is I would print out at the beginning of the week, like I would on a Sunday night, if I was going to plan for the week, I would print it out. And what I did is I had a list of it, and I had a list of blocks, and it would have the days, Monday through the following Sunday, and I would have AM and PM Instagram. And that would be like, I would plan out what I'm going to do. And so then I would know like, okay, I'm building my outfeed table. And then I would think about, so the hardest part of Instagram is for a lot of people, but when you get in the groove, it's not hard at all, is finding the content. And what I mean is that most people, I think they're like, we're getting into it now, but especially 3 years ago on Instagram, it was like a lot of beauty shots.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that we...
It was like...
that we talked about.
The feeds were just gorgeous, right?
We talked about on Made for Profit. It's
But
like, you've got to share the process, and people like the process.
People like seeing
Behind
when
the
things mess
scenes,
up. They like seeing
tips and tricks.
Yes, just like all the little bits that go into
and
it.
So then I would say, okay, the outfeed table, and then you got to break that down in your mind. First of all, like, am I going to be completing the entire project? Yes or no? Where do I plan on getting? Maybe I'm only able to work Tuesday night and Thursday night. So I've got to get enough content on those to be able to do it. and start blocking out some of those times of like, okay, on Monday I'm going to show like my initial breakdown. Like I'm going to show using my track saw to cut down plywood and talk about how I use rigid foam insulation on top of my table saw and just have a high speed of that. Then the next day I'm going to show some joinery. I'm going to show like me cutting down and drilling some pocket holes. And then the next day, boom, 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 boom. And so if you plan that out in your mind and you have a plan ahead of time, then you know what to capture. And then that's what's going to help make you successful. Because if you just go in and you're like, I need to take a picture of something. First of all, it's not going to be good because it's on the fly.
Well,
you'll hit a gold mine every once in a while, but
and that's more
worst
stressful,
case, and more often than not, you'll just forget about it.
Well, and I remember there were most of the time, like it was planned out and you knew what you were doing and you were posting and it was fine. But I do remember there were occasions, more than one, I'm sure, where like things would change and you were like, I don't have anything for today. And that was when it got a little bit more stressful, like trying to figure out what you were going to put out. Because, I mean, like, you definitely were really consistent with putting stuff out.
Oh, yeah. And
so
man,
then it was like, well, you're going to throw up the
some
whole thing. So, yeah.
Right. And I mean, there's absolutely 100% times where I just threw up a Hail Mary, just a horrible, crappy post,
Well, and then there are...
Picture my toe or something.
But there are some things that you've put out, like, do you remember the glue bottle? Or was it the glue bottle or the
glue brush?
Glue brush.
Oh, yeah.
He was, like, going to clean a glue brush. Right? Like one of the silicone glue brushes.
I had what I believe, not that's a big deal, but just funny because it's been done a lot of times. That's what happens when something goes viral. I had the glue brush, and people do it all the time. Like, and I would do it, but when you peel out the silicone glue brush, the dried glue, and I was like, oh, like that. This whole satisfying thing was just kind of taken off of people doing things like that, and so I filmed it, and that was like one of the first ones that I saw, at least, and it like got like 1 million views on Instagram, which back then was like crazy.
But
sauce.
I don't think you had planned that out in your week. It was more like,
well, that's what I said. You might hit a gold mine,
right? And like after a while, you're kind of like thinking that way,
But it's that is a super hard thing. But once you get in the groove, it becomes much easier. And the whole way to be successful is to have a plan and execute on the plan. So.
Yeah, no.
That's all I got to say about that.
And there are people on here saying to schedule it out, right? Like that's
and
like
you
the
can
best
schedule.
way
you can
to do
use,
it. Katie is scheduled out till mid-October.
You're a beast, Katie.
I know.
By the way, so interesting fact about Brad. And about how I've run. So I have posted every single one of my Instagram, Facebook, all that has been me. I don't have anybody doing it for me. And the number of posts that I have scheduled on Instagram is probably 2.
No, there was one week in the summer where you did like the whole week, remember? Was that Instagram? Maybe.
No, Facebook. So Facebook I've done quite a bit more, but for Instagram, I just have never gotten into, I don't know why. I like doing it myself, which is not like it's stupid. But I've literally like probably a handful that I've done that I have not, and I don't know how many posts I have, like over 4,000 for sure. And every one of those is me writing it. And, sometimes I'll write it in like Notepad or whatever, but most of the times it's just like picking the picture, doing it. So I don't use any of those scheduling tools. And I'm not saying that to say that you don't have to, or to say that like, bravo for me. I'm just saying like, don't think that you have to do that. And if I was able to do it, doing that, if you're smart about it and use scheduling tools, then you can be a lot better.
Do it, be optimized.
All right, Nuke Beaver, hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
Is that
it's a
follow-up
business
to that
question,
one? All right,
kind of.
We got one over here.
Yeah.
Nuke Beaver, our old Pats fan, says, how do you think about did you think about collaborating with other woodworking YouTubers at any point? I have. I've collaborated with a lot of YouTube woodworkers. I've collabed with John Malecki, obviously. DIY Pete, Johnny from Crafted Workshop. When I was out at Maker Ranch out in Palm Beach, Joshua Tree. There were like 6 or 7, like Mike from Industrial Maker, Mike Montgomery, Ben Ueda, Johnny from Johnny Builds, Ben from Wobie Designs, a bunch of people out there for that. So we did that. Alex Mazukin from Mr. Build It. I'm trying to think, did we have anybody? Did I go? I'm trying to think of
what?
I guess I didn't do any videos with I was thinking Jameson or any of those. But yeah, so I've really enjoyed doing videos with folks, and I want to do more, and I plan to do more. So We're actually I gotta
talk to
talk to Mr. Johnny.
Plans in the works.
Yeah, so I highly recommend that. It's a great way to just to learn from people too. And Matt Akins from right here local. I don't know if Matt's around today.
Yeah, I've not seen him on here.
But and he doesn't do a YouTube channel, but he's a local woodworker, and we partnered up and did some things. He helped me build the dining table that we did a few months back now.
Well, Dennis Miko wants to know, could you have made the career switch without your wife supporting you?
No.
What was her part of the career change? You could not have.
Why don't you answer that?
Well, I would say yes. I mean, because when he was working full time, well, like doing both jobs, like working at corporate America and building up the business on the side, I was staying home with our kids. And I had done that for years. I used to teach before that. And so when you left your full-time job to get another full-time job with this, I went back to teaching for the year to own his own business. Yes, I went back to teaching, and I planned on doing it for a while. Partially that was for health insurance, and that was also for just kind of a mental safety net, because honestly, teachers in Tennessee do not get paid well at all. I mean, like, we moved from Ohio, and I would have made a lot more going back to my old district in Ohio, but that's a whole different conversation.
Well,
it was sad.
The other part of that was because we knew her salary was peanuts.
It's bad.
And was 25% less than she made 8 years ago before
in
that.
Ohio. 8 years ago.
And so part of that was us becoming debt-free and working to pay off our debt. And so that we knew that we could survive on her paltry
that probably
servant
I'm
salary.
sure that made it so that you had to work your gig longer to get us to that point financially. Yeah. You know, like he couldn't just be like, I'm quitting tomorrow. I mean, he could have, but that would have put us in kind of a bind. Right. We wanted to be able to have the least amount of bills and things we had to pay per month, because we didn't really know how it was going to go. Yeah, so that we could survive on my sad little paycheck.
Right, so that we could literally, survive off
rice and beans,
a family of 5 off of a single salary from a teaching job.
And I did that for 1 year. I planned on staying longer, but then about March of that school year, we just knew like it wasn't great for us as a family. It was hard on the kids. It's hard on you, because at anytime that he was like Mr. Mom, because I was teaching, and so I wasn't home when the kids got off the bus, and like you had to take them to doctor's appointments, and it was fine and good.
Number of times the kids missed the school bus?
0. He was an all-star with getting them on the bus. It was very good. But like a lot of the things that I managed, you picked up, which was fine. But like it was hard, like when he was going to travel to go like meet up and go to Maker Ranch and all those things, then it became more of a scheduling issue, because I had to be at work, so I couldn't get them on and off the bus and all that. So it was hard in that way, and we knew that I would be able to be better help with the business, and I wasn't bringing home a ton of money. So if that makes you feel better, like it's not like I'm like a lawyer or something, making lots of money.
This is not her, making $100,000 and me being like, I'm gonna go play in the shop while we live off my wife's salary.
Susan's gonna pay for everything. No, Susan could pay for like Taco Bell or something like that. It was sad. Yeah, but and then that was it, right? So like we figured out the health insurance thing. That was like the biggest stumbling block for a little bit, but we got that worked out, and then we both do this. And I would say I am definitely more of a part-time employee, because I get the kids on the bus, I get them off the bus, and then I'm like, our oldest is schooling at home right now, and so I'm kind of managing him a little bit. It's just a lot of things, like we have kids, so I try to do stuff.
I saw a question from, where did I miss it? I think it was I think it was somebody asking about the shirt. Oh, it was Derek Anderson.
Oh, right.
Asking about Calavera tool. So Mike Calavera is a friend of mine, and he sent me the shirt. And it's a cool really cool shirt. And so
it's a nice shirt.
I'm not. Is this the one?
Yep.
It is the one.
That belt.
So this is
You flashing your midriff?
Yeah, sorry. I've got a belt on from him, which is a leather belt. He does leather work, so it's Calavera Toolworks. But he's Leatherworks. He does aprons and stuff. He just got cool designs, and if you want a super, super heavy duty belt, Yeah, this thing's like, sucker's like a 1/4 of an inch thick. Not quite, but it's like
nice.
super thick. Like when I take my pants off and I still have the belt in it, it'll like stand up on its own. So.
Big Willie
Mike's a great guy, by the way.
And Big Willie, I read your post about finishing your first project. Congrats. Just send us a picture. Email it in.
Oh, we'd love it.
Yeah, we'd love to check it out. Let's see.
Wait, what was that? Was that the Dennis? Could have made the career. Oh, that was
the same one. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me switch over here. Back. So Instagram folks, I'm way behind on questions, but I would love to hear them. Business questions, and if you want to join us over on YouTube, we still got another 15 minutes, so please come over and we can see your questions in there, and we'll, answer them if we can get to them. But we would love to have you over there. Let's see here. Barrio Woodworks, what's up, my man? Do I use Incra miter gauge on the saw stop? I do not. I use the stock one with a wood sacrificial fence on there. Dave Waits, what's up, Dave? I hope you were doing well, my man. Let's see here. I'm scrolling through looking for business questions over here. Dang right about teachers. God bless the teachers. Kyle Beckman
seriously.
says. El Mohin says his wife and kids, he and his wife are going about the same thing. Let's hear it for educators. Getting all the educators going up.
Yep.
Didn't know it was that kind. Zoe says, didn't know it was that kind of show. I'm just like,
oh, I know.
Dun, dun. Business questions, what's up?
This is how he really makes money.
Yes, let's see here. Robert, what's up?
I didn't see any other.
Woodcraft's anniversary event. Robert, I've not talked to the Woodcraft guys. I saw the event come up, but I've not talked to Aaron.
How are they doing it?
They're doing great.
No, but how are they doing?
Oh, I thought you said how are they doing?
The event.
I don't know. I mean, they're open in store and it's just masks, so I'm sure they probably just will have people over and have a sale and all that good stuff. Let's see here. Weekend DIYer. Excuse me. Just don't know. Malecki, Mr. Build It says he's the worst. Yes, he is. What do we have? I missed one. Did we have one that was down there? I don't know. Did you mostly post? So Josh, do you mostly post IG videos during those 2 years? No.
You didn't do videos.
No,
right
I didn't.
People weren't really doing them at
videos didn't perform. So videos, it was. It wasn't. So what are we at the end of 19, end of 18? I think it was the end of 18.
Yeah.
The end of 2018 is when video really took off, and so it brings up a great question. So asking like, what was I posting? What style was I posting? And how, so the kind of underlying question behind there is like, how did you grow? And what did you do to grow? Is I found that videos were doing really well. They're outperforming pictures like 10 to 1 easy as far as like follows and those things, because that's when we could start getting analytics too, engagements, everything. And this was another lesson I learned in that I still follow to this day, and it's a huge cornerstone of my business in all aspects, is that when you find something that's working, double down. So a lot of people like to move on and go to like the next thing, like oh yeah, this worked, but now let's try this next thing. And it's like, no, like if video really works, then you go video. And like, so right now, like Reels, so Instagram Reels, that's their new TikTok style, and they're promoting that. And so,
I'm sorry, Reels, is that like a carousel?
No, Reels it's like 15 seconds, and then you can add music to it.
Oh.
And when you open up your app, they're giving like 6 to 9 blocks. So when you have the app, it's like when you're browsing.
Right.
They're giving 6 to 9 blocks for Reels to highlight a reel. So that's when you're opening it up. And so whenever Instagram says like, hey, we're getting behind this because this is a new feature, and they did that for stories, they did that for IGTV. When I see that and I see what's performing, which if you go to my feed and look, you'll see a lot of reels, not a lot because I'm not consistent right now, but I'm doubling down on what's working because I did the reel and it was like, it got a ton of views. And I was like, absolutely, do more. And so video did that back in 2018. And I posted like from, I think November, I did all videos for like from November through the end of the year into January. Every single post was a video.
And I remember
because that's what was performing so well.
That was kind of not upsetting, because upsetting sounds too extreme, but like people were used to their beautiful feeds. Like everything was pretty, even if it wasn't like, even if it was a processed shot, you had good lighting and you had a great angle on it. And like just scrolling through your feed, it looked really nice. And then when you got the video, that just kind of changes the dynamic of it. And at that time, I remember there was like, I mean, you kind of jumped into it, but I remember you saying like, my feed is not going to look as nice.
Yeah.
But
I dropped
it's
that
okay.
really fast though, because that was like Instagram. It was all about like how your feed looks when somebody comes at it, and they're still like.
Because you want it to be concise, so you want it to be cohesive and like keep it.
And if you're like a designer,
brand.
Then or a photographer or whatever, you want it to look really good. But if you're a woodworker, if you're a small business, like you want it to perform and you want people to understand, but you can get good cover shots.
It doesn't matter how pretty it looks if people aren't looking at it.
But they don't know I did that, and I don't even remember the numbers, but it was huge. I remember that I picked up tens of thousands of followers in that span. I mean, it was massive.
Well, and
because I saw it working, and I was having posts. My posts, like individual posts, were picking up 5,000 and 6,000 followers on individual video posts, and like my eyes were like, oh my gosh, and that over the course of a week to 2 weeks. But I mean, it was insane, and so I just went hard. I went hard at video, and today I still think video outperforms on Instagram. But if I was only gonna do one type of post for the next month, it would 100% be Reels today in this moment.
Well, and I was gonna say, whether it's YouTube or Pinterest or like any platform, I would say the thing that really has to be fundamental is for you to be able to see what's going on and make adjustments and not be married to how you've always done things. Like, cause it's always changing, right? And like, they don't always like give you a heads up, like just things have changed and suddenly like things aren't, popping off like they used to. And so you have to try to figure out like what's going on. And it's always a little bit of a head scratcher in some degree, but thankfully for Brad, you're a very analytics kind of person. Brad loves data. He's got a spreadsheet for everything. I thrive
on knowing what works from a data perspective.
He wants to be able to make the smartest move, right?
So if a platform has analytics, I am in them. And
He's
that's
really
how
interested.
I look. And so when I look, and that's how I find like what's working.
Right.
I don't just like stick my thumb in the air and go, well, that looked like that one had.
Or we're just going to keep doing it because it used to work.
Right. But I look at the numbers. So on YouTube videos, same thing. That's why like I did a vinyl plank flooring video. It took a long time to get another one out, but then I was like, oh, well, that did really well. Did another one.
Right.
That one did really well.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Did another one. That one did not do well at all.
We didn't see that coming, but things changed.
But I know because I tried to change the format, and it was not an install. It was like a tips and tricks. And so then I was like,
guess what we're not going to do in the future?
Yeah, that tangent. Let's not do that. And so now I'm going to go do another one.
It's like a choose your own adventure path.
It is. Because
and
the more you veer off the course, you can get great stuff, but there's a reason why people stick to what they know.
Yeah.
And you do need to try new things, but there's a lot of power in if it is working, keep doing it.
Right.
Right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it is a great saying for a reason. Now if it's declining, you don't want to get stuck in your ways, and you also don't want to miss a big opportunity.
Right.
So if something's working better, then go that direction. But 100%, double down. That is a huge motto of mine, is double down on what's working. So.
Yep.
Tenet. It's a tenet of business.
Getting fancy over here.
All right. What do we have over here on the? I'm going to scroll through.
Luther Woodworks wants to know: can a person still grow if they don't care about the analytics?
Sure.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Jeez. Sorry, Luther.
No. Yes, you can, but I mean.
And there are lots of people out there
that's like saying. Let me just say.
Okay.
That's like saying, hey, can I have a profitable business if I don't look at what's selling? Think about it that way. Like if you think about it like a business, would you say, hey, I want to be a successful business, but I don't want to look at the balance sheet. I don't want to look at the money coming in. I don't want to look at my expenses. Like that's crazy, right? You would never do that. You would say, here's what's making me money. Here's my best performers. And if you decide that the stuff that's not making you a lot of money, you're not going to do it, even though if you love doing it. right? So if you love making cutting boards, but it takes you 40 hours to make one cutting board and you can sell it for $100, you're not making money, right? And you might hate making dining tables, but if you can make a dining table in the same 40 hours and sell it for $1,000,
but
can you make a living making cutting boards? Sure. It's going to be a really crappy living if you're spending that much time. Not, you could make a good living making cutting boards, don't get me wrong, if you make them in 2 hours instead of 40 hours. But that's the idea. I mean, can you? Sure. Should you? No, not in my opinion.
But I would say you can look at the analytics without going quite as deep as Brad goes.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of the extremer example of this. And there are, you could still, you might not have as close of a pulse of what's going on, but you're not going to hopefully have your head in the sand and be like, I'm just making whatever I feel like making. You kind of have ideas. But then, and also there are lots of people out there that talk about this on the YouTube channels that talk about how to optimize and how the things to look at, like a Tim Schmoyer or what's the guy? So there are people that you can watch and learn from. So it's not if you're not a natural analytics person, and if you're not totally already into this and that sounds overwhelming to you, there are places that you can go to get more information to make it less mind-boggling.
Yeah, but Instagram makes it so incredibly easy. You literally can go in, sort on a time frame, and say, what are my best performing posts by engagement, followers, whatever you want, likes, and see those in the last 30 days. And and when I say analytics, I'm not saying going crazy like what I like to do. You don't have to do that. But I'm just saying if you're posting pictures of your dog and you really love your dog because your dog's amazing and awesome, but you lose followers every time you do that, which you may, depending upon your account, and it gets a third of the likes of all your other stuff, at least even just looking at the likes and looking at what resonates and how many comments, that's still looking at the analytics. So at its lightest version, you can just scroll through your feed and just see which ones have the most hearts and comments. That's easy, anybody can do that. Or you can actually go into the analytics and do it there as well if you have a creator account or a business account. But I obviously feel very strongly about that. I think you can. It's just not the best way to do it, in my opinion.
And you didn't wake up one day and have all this knowledge about the different analytics, and it was very much a part of his job in corporate America. You were a data guy there too, right?
Yes.
You were all about optimization. So he's just all about optimization in general. However, that wasn't so because he did that in corporate America, suddenly everything online totally fit the same way. So you've learned things as you've gone. So it's an acquired skill. It's a whole acquired skill set. So don't let that stress you out and stop you. Yeah.
You can 100% get overwhelmed. And Josh, just from knowing you for a while, and I've seen some of your different comments around and stuff, that I think one of the downsides is that if you wrap what you can't do, what's not healthy, is to wrap yourself into the analytics, that if something underperforms, it affects you mentally and personally and puts you in a bad mood, and then you get in a fight with your wife and you ignore your kids.
Never happened.
Because we've had those conversations in different groups and stuff, and I know that's a big concern, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing. When I say follow the analytics, I'm not saying, I want to be really clear about this, I'm not saying that it's all about likes and it's all about engagement. What I'm saying is if your goal is to grow an account, I'm taking myself out of this and saying,
it's like a business.
If my goal, I have a goal, and if it's a business, my goal is to make money, and here's how I'm going to do it, and here's, Susan and I were just talking about this today, our mission is to help educate, inspire, and entertain people. And that's our mission as a business, is to help people build things and build themselves. Mm-hmm. But one of the goals is finance, right? One of our goals is to make
we can keep doing
X amount of money so we can achieve things that we want to do, and take our kids on vacation or do whatever, or have money for a new car, new used, of course.
Right, we never buy new.
But that is a goal, and so if my goal is to grow my subscriber count or my followers, I'm going to attack that as a goal, not as do people like me.
Right.
Do I get self-worth from my follower count and that is, there's so many people that are in really bad places because of social media.
Yes.
And we've had this conversation. That's we're not giving our kids social media, because when you're that young, you're getting a whole other topic, but it's a great example. when kids are so young and when kids are in elementary and middle school,
Yep.
they, that becomes who they are. They think they're defined by how many likes they got on their last post.
Yeah.
And their brains are not mature enough to be able to separate that. And so, when I look at that and I have a post that goes really bad, and I got people ripping me in comments and trolling me and telling me why I suck for using pocket holes and all this stuff, like all the time. And I can't say that it's never hurt when somebody said that.
Right.
Like there've been times I'm like, "Ooh, you got me." I mean, it's never about pocket holes, believe me, but it's about other things, right? And I'm like, but. Right, so I'm just kind of setting the stage there that I don't want you guys to think that, what I'm saying is like it's all about the likes and it's all about the followers, because it's not. What I'm saying is if that is a goal for you and you want to build that, that's the best way to attack it. That's the best way to approach it, to do it as fastly, as quickly as you can.
Well, and I
hope that makes sense, and because that can get very dicey.
Yeah.
Especially when it's your name, right? When it's like John Malecki,
right,
for instance, because it's the first one I think of. I'm Fix This, Build That. And so it's a little bit easier, right? Because it's not like Brad Rodriguez Woodworking. It's like a business. And so I can still kind of detach myself a little bit. But anyway, that's my soapbox.
And I would like to piggyback off of that. Piggy in it. No, that sounds weird. Like we try to also, it's a little tricky for anyone that has kids that are of the age where they're going to, well, really any kids. It's a little tricky because we make our business, like we make money on engaging in social media and making videos, and like all of it stems from social media. And then we have, tweens that want phones, and we're saying, no, you're not getting a phone for a long time. And it's tricky. And so modeling for them, and Brad does a really good job of this, like when we have a video that goes really well, our oldest is 12. He just turned 12. He's very into like all the analytics. He's 100% a mini Brad in that way. He totally is. But like Brad does a good job of like, he'll share with him like, oh yeah, this is exciting. But then also share the other stuff, and like just to kind of to show him though, to model for him how like, it's not about the likes. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, it is a reality that we want videos to do well, but that does not define who he is or his value or our value or any of that. So it's just tricky. Yeah. And then also, like, something random, like, I think it's great. Like, so Brad recently retook up fishing again. And so, because you kind of needed, right? Especially when we were all quarantined and everything. A lot of people got back into fishing or just got into it for the first time. But it was nice for you, I'll speak on your behalf, to have like...
She knows me.
I know. To be able to separate and go do something that has nothing to do with woodworking. And he can just go and like, do you want to talk about that? Like,
well,
it's just nice.
That's been my biggest pitfall. For sure. I would say like 2019, for sure. That I would, when I say my likes and follows don't define me, I can separate that. But does my business define me? I can't say that I did a great job of that. I'm getting better now with trying to pick up more hobby. But like I would spend 100+ hours a week working, not in the sense of like, oh, I'm hammering it out in the shop or I'm on the computer, but mentally working. And I think
you don't turn your brain off.
Right. Like I always thought about the business.
Yeah.
Always, like constantly. When I was awake, I was always thinking about the business. Even when I'm like with the kids at times, and like that's where I'm like, oh gosh, like and so what we try to get a lot better about that, but we always have dinner together, which is one thing that we really enjoy.
And we usually play games together
and
after
so doing
dinner
things like that,
yeah.
we do card games and board games. We've got the new Wits and Wagers.
It's amazing.
Vegas, which is fun.
Vegas edition, so good.
And so being able to like say, okay, like I am like not gonna have my phone out. We're gonna be like connected because like we've both had issues with that, where it's like we try not to have our phones out around the kids.
Yeah.
And even when we do, I typically I will let them know like, oh, I'm looking up, like I'll let them know what I'm doing.
I'll be like, I'm looking at the weather on the Weather Channel.
Not that, and again, we're not perfect,
all the time, but sometimes.
But I will try to tell them like, here's why I have my phone out, and like it's not because I'm like surfing Instagram, it's because I'm looking at this or that, or I'm like, yeah, hey, I just launched a video and I need to respond to some comments
Yeah.
and like stuff like that because I do launch on Sundays.
And
But
they
anyway,
think that's cool. Like they do think
but
it's
being
pretty
able
cool.
to turn off is a huge thing,
Yeah.
and I'm getting better at that because yes, that's the upside and the downside of a small business. The great thing about working for the man is that when you're done working for the man, you're done working for the man. And it's like you're on your own time, and I know a lot of people get email and stuff, and they're texting, but for the most part, you can get away from work. When you own your own small business and your office is literally in your house, it's a bad combination for me, at least personally. And so, you got to create some of that separation, and I'm on that journey right now trying to figure that out. But it's a challenge. It's a challenge. I'm just gonna look to see whatever.
It's like there's a whole side conversation.
I know. I'm gonna run in and look at the comments and read through the comments on YouTube. So thank you so much. And that's the great thing about YouTube, by the way. Instagram stinks. I can go in there and go back and read the comments, and I could even go back and comment in the comments. I could never do that on Instagram.
No.
But yes,
true.
This was awesome.
It was good.
This was awesome.
I hope it was helpful to people.
And so just as a little insider information for you guys. This is absolutely we've got a whiteboard and all kinds of ideas and stuff. And like, this is something that I am, as you can tell, very passionate about, is about business and about the analytics and helping people understand and work through that process.
Right.
And so, we're trying to figure out what that looks like. And obviously John and I did that with Made for Profit, but, and that may or may not come back in some form or fashion, but I still have a passion for it, and so I'm thinking about what do I do, and if I'm going to be doing something that is more long term. So 20 years from now, do I still want to be making woodworking videos? I don't know, maybe not. But would I want to be a business consultant and be consulting for folks, and whether it's companies or individuals,
right.
Creators, whatever. Yeah, like that's really attractive to me. So that's something that I've been doing. I have a little consulting on the side that I consult for content creators. I don't ever advertise it, just whenever people ask me about it. And I have a consulting session that I'll set up and do with people for a fee. They're not free, obviously.
And you enjoy it.
And I really enjoy that. So that is something that we're actively looking at. Like how, that's something that kind of a little itch that I want to scratch.
So Fix This Built, that is not going away.
No, it's not. But,
but
I
might
might
just more like looking down the road, trying to figure out what that will look like
maybe
in
it could
the
be
future.
The podcast could be Double Down.
Double down.
Double down on your business with Brad.
You could get back into poker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that's just something that I've been thinking about for a while.
Yeah.
And so, so stay tuned. So if you guys want to have any of these conversations in these lives, I would love to have that. And if I didn't answer any of your woodworking questions, bring them next week.
Yep.
And we will for sure
answer
them and get back onto the woodworking topic. So we are going to head inside and clean up and maybe watch a little show.
The Walking Dead.
And I've been bad. I've been eating ice cream like sneaking, but it's only been like.
I'm drinking water.
She's like I swear, as she's eating healthier, I'm eating worse. I don't know why. It's weird. I'm not eating worse.
You're not. You're just eating like we usually do.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm not.
So anyway, but we're gonna head inside. So I hope you guys have a great week. Remember kitchen organization video. If you've not seen that, that is up. You can go check it out.
Check it out
on the main channel. And we'll catch you next Sunday. So until then, get out there and build something awesome.
Thanks for joining us.
All right. See you guys.
Bye. All right.
The not yet. Just
I got to review
just
these
from
comments.
the not yet. All right.